Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tackling Basketball Podcast. My name is Jonathan.
I'm Micah.
And I'm Evan.
And you are in for quite the treat today. We've got a lot of segments to cover, and not a lot of time to do it, so we might be rushing a little bit. But hopefully, we still have some decent quality content. Let's go ahead and get it started, though, with the Toast and Roast segment this week. Micah, who are you toasting?
I'm toasting Cam Thomas, who is coming off of a ridiculous first week, averaging over 30 points a game. This is a dude who's on my fantasy basketball team, who I was debating dropping at the beginning of the season to make room for the people I had on IR and bringing up my rookie squad. And I'm very glad I didn't, because this guy is on fire. Yeah, it's just good to see a young player who a couple years ago when he was with KD and Kyrie was complaining about not getting a lot of time, and now is kind of making a case for why he should have, because he's balling out.
Yeah.
Coming off the bench and still doing this, it'll be exciting to see this young rookie team, or not rookie team, but young team, to see how they kind of maneuver his playing and his minutes if he keeps performing like this.
Yeah, without a doubt. I missed out on him in waivers in the other league, and you never dropped him in our league, so
thankfully.
Not missing out.
No kidding.
Evan, who's your toast this week?
Gotta be Luka Doncic. I mean, the guy has been absolutely balling to start the season. So far, my prediction of him being the scoring leader is looking very, very good at the moment. He has yet to not score 30 points and has been carrying the Mavs on his back because Lord knows no one else is. So, just playing, as we all know, Luka can, just an absolute scoring demon, and has actually been playing pretty well on defense this year, too, which has been a nice change up for him. Again, probably just the mentality of, I have to do everything, which doesn't bode well for the end of the season when he might suffer burnout, but we'll see. Hopefully he can keep it going, because Luka playing like this is just fun to watch, and it makes the Mavs watchable when, if he wasn't there, no one would care about them. So.
Right. I mean, this is exactly what they needed. They needed him to step up, be their entire team, and for Kyrie to sort of fade into the background.
Well, so far he's been hurt. So,
so it's exactly, like I said, it's exactly what they needed.
And they're undefeated. Cough, cough, wink, wink, Mark Cuban.
How long until they trade him, do you think?
With that contract, it's probably never going to happen.
And that dude.
Yeah.
I think that's the harder part.
Who knows? Maybe their Lakers will get desperate.
Oh, man. Fuck the last 8 years. The Denver Broncos are 1-0 in their last one game against the Kansas City Chiefs. And my God, does it feel good.
It only took Patrick Mahomes having the flu to make it happen.
It took a lot less than that. The Denver Broncos have actually had the Kansas City Chiefs number as well as they can for losing their last 3 games, where it was actually really competitive these last 3 times that we've met up. And Patrick Mahomes even said after this last game, pretty classy act all around in his press conference, saying it's a great environment, felt horrible leaving it, congrats to the fans, everything. But he mentioned they attacked us with the exact same game plan they have the last 3 times we've matched up. They did really well the last 3 times. This time they broke through. And we did it in a dramatic fashion, disallowing a single touchdown to be scored. In fact, in the last 2 matchups against the Chiefs, we've allowed Patrick Mahomes only 1 touchdown. 5 turnovers this last game, and just a huge weight off of Broncos country's back. We're going to talk soon about the trade deadline acquisitions that were made. And this game was enough to inspire, for better or worse, the Broncos to do nothing. So it's pretty exciting, sort of looking at the rest of the schedule, dreaming maybe a lot of these teams that were supposed to be better are floundering this season. Maybe we can break off a few wins and maybe even get above 500, hope for a wild card spot. It's unlikely, but for now, we're just happy to have beaten Patrick Mahomes. So, congratulations, Broncos. Cheers.
Cheers, Broncos. All right, moving on to the less uplifting and to the downlifting, if that's a word.
I think so.
I think it is. Yeah. I'll be
We're
roasting.
going to trivia later, and I don't know if that inspires much confidence there, Mike.
I'm very sleepy. I'm roasting Joel Embiid, getting fined $35,000 for what I think the NBA called inappropriate or obscene gestures. I don't know how to describe this verbally, but he essentially did 4 strong hip thrusts while karate chopping his upper thighs, if that gives you a mental picture of that. I do love Joel Embiid. I love his antics. I think it's good for the game. I think it's fun. He did this in the 3rd game of the season against the Blazers. Yeah. No one should be happy about beating the Blazers. They are so bad. And he's acting like he just beat the Celtics in a Game 7, celebrating like that. Like, dude, calm down. This is not an accomplishment. Like, you're the reigning MVP, and you beat arguably the worst team in the league. Calm the fuck down.
Right.
Yeah, stupid head. My roast for this week, I'm roasting the Phoenix Suns' big 3. Mainly because, as a surprise to absolutely no one, they have yet to play together, which is kind of what everybody was predicting and what everybody thought the issue might be with this big 3. As has been the issue with, like, every single big 3 that Kevin Durant has been a part of everywhere he goes, is that not necessarily Kevin's fault, but they just never get to play together. Like, KD, Kyrie, and Harden didn't play much together. I mean, it's just...
I would argue Steph, Clay, and KD played a whole lot together.
They did. Yeah. Okay. Everywhere he goes since leaving the Warriors, it hasn't worked out well for KD around there. But it's just... I don't know. Like, so far, the Suns beat Big 3 again. We haven't got to see them together, so we can't say that they're not going to work together. But in order to work together, you have to actually play together. And Bradley Beal currently has a back issue with no timetable on returning because it's a back issue. And like we saw with Ben Simmons last year, a back issue can be resolved in a week or a season. Yeah. So who knows when Bradley Beal will be back. Devin Booker's hovering from a hamstring injury. So honestly, the Suns losing to the Spurs last night probably shouldn't have happened, but also they were without D-Book and Bradley Beal, so it kind of makes sense, I guess. But yeah, I mean, the Suns, if I'm Suns fans, this start to the season here would make me a little bit nervous just when it comes to the health of these guys, because starting out the season with them not playing together for 4 straight games is not great.
At the same time, I think they're probably also just being overly cautious about both those injuries. Like, they've got time, no need to rush it at the very beginning and get hurt even more. So I'm not too worried about it. If this like persists through like All-Star break and stuff, then I would be like, okay, this is concerning. Yeah. But as of now, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Plenty of time to get healthy. The first few games of the season are not what matters. And they need to, but I don't think it's unlikely.
I just needed somebody to roast this week, and it was really scraping the bottom of the barrel.
I mean,
that's fair.
You could have picked Josh McDaniels.
I was leaving him for you. I had a feeling
great transition.
You were going to want to force him.
Yeah, so I was almost tempted to just include all of the Patriots' former assistant coaches here, because they have a horrible track record. Every single one of them gets fired as being a head coach. Some of them twice, like our good friend Josh McDaniels. And then they all wind up finding their way back to old Daddy Belichick. And this is also almost a roast on the Raiders, partially for hiring him, partially for firing him in a season where they're almost overperforming what their talent suggests. And then also paying out the rest of his contract, like not signing any sort of a deal to get off some of that money. So they're going to be paying him another $40 million to go be the assistant coach for Belichick again, probably. We'll find out soon. But it's honestly something that the Raiders probably needed to do. They also moved off of their GM, which is certainly long overdue, has not had a great history of making good trades or drafting super well, and was silent during this trade deadline as well, which I think was the straw that broke the president's back there. So, see you later, Josh McDaniels. It was fun watching you while we could.
Was it?
No, not at all. If it was, it wouldn't have been a roast.
I don't think I ever enjoyed watching.
It also honestly blows my mind that he wasn't fired after last season, just from how he handled the Derek Carr situation. Like, I don't understand how you have a guy that's been your franchise quarterback for 8 years, and then, like, when he's out the door, you tell him, stay home, you're not, like, don't come to the last couple of games of the season because you're benched, and we don't want you around.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm sure in that moment, every single player on the Raiders, because all those guys love Derek Carr. Regardless of what you think of Derek Carr as a quarterback, Derek Carr is a great leader and just a great human being. Everybody on the team loved him. And so to have a head coach say, no, Derek's not coming to our last couple of games, like, as a player, I'd be like, screw you. Like, I don't respect you at all anymore, because that's just garbage.
Yeah, for sure.
Now time to move on to some NFL power rankings. Every single team played this last week, so we have a lot to talk about here, although we will try to be quick. So let's go over to you, Evan. What happened this last week?
The funny thing is like, a lot of this stuff happened, but because we're settling into the season here, teams aren't moving around as much. Biggest faller, I think all of our biggest fallers is probably the 49ers. They've been sliding a lot here, have been not looking good, so I had them dropping 4 spots. Biggest riser, I had the Titans moving up 5. Why? Honestly don't know. I had the Titans moving up 5. There we go. Bengals moved up quite a bit because they dog-walked the 49ers and looked really good in that win. Joe Burrow finally looked like the MVP candidate quarterback that he's supposed to. He also finally realized, oh, that's right, I have Jamar Chase. And I can just throw the ball at him. So that usually helps. Outside of that, kind of a pretty stagnant week. I had a lot of teams staying in roughly the same spot. There were several wins, like the Jets win. I didn't really bump them up because like they won by an overtime field goal against the Giants.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it felt like there were a lot of games where the team I thought should win won. Like the Bengals were the biggest one where I was like, all right, good for you. And even then, like, I think they're already a good team. Like, wasn't a huge surprise. I think in looking at my like risers and fallers, my biggest risers were 2 spots up, and my biggest fallers were 3 down. And there was like a couple both ways. I'll highlight Seattle for securing the NFC West now after this last week. They're starting to look really good, and especially with the 49ers starting to just lose the capability of playing football. They're looking like they can potentially secure that spot and win that division. Mm-hmm. Biggest faller, I have the Commanders, who just haven't been looking that great since the start of the season. Losing to the Eagles, which is not like... No one should be ashamed of losing to the Eagles.
No, not at all.
But, like, also coming back, you also just lost to the Giants. You got obliterated a few weeks ago by the Bears. Like,
yeah,
they're on the downfall.
I mean, it was a very close loss to the Eagles as well, which almost, like, incentivized me not to drop them. But they were my biggest faller as well. In large part, I think, because of the trade deadline. I don't know what they were doing. We're going to talk a lot more about it really soon. But they gave away their 2 best pass rushers, maybe their only 2 pass rushers really, for pennies on the dollar. And that made me mad enough to drop them 6 spots. And then I've already talked about my biggest riser. Go Broncos. Way to get that huge win. So, yeah. Moving over now, it's time to talk about some of the NFL trade deadline acquisitions. So, obviously, we have these two deals that were made by the Commanders with Chase Young and Montez Sweat both being shipped off for a 3rd and a 2nd respectively. Rasul Douglas to the Bills, Joshua Dobbs to the Vikings, which is another like kind of weird one that no one saw coming until the Cardinals announced that they were going to bench Josh Dobbs.
Yeah.
Leonard Williams to the Seahawks and Kevin Byard to the Eagles for Terrell Edmonds. Guys, what do you think about these trades? Do any really stand out to you?
I mean, really the only ones that are worth chatting about is the Commanders ones. All the other ones, I guess we can talk about Josh Dobbs too, but like Rasul Douglas to the Bills, Packers should be tanking. Trading away Douglas makes sense. He's an older corner. Hanging on to Jair over him makes a lot of sense. Giants trading away Leonard Williams, they're another tank candidate. Might as well get rid of your best defensive player and get something out of him. And then same with the Titans trading away Kevin Byard to the Eagles. So all those make sense. Commanders, though, is confusing. The only way I feel like it makes any sort of sense is them just mentally coming to the decision like we're not going to be competitive within the next 2 to 3 years. And we might as well just build up draft capital to try and build around Sam Howell, who has shown himself to be a freaking guy who can absolutely man the quarterback position for this franchise, which that's the position you need to get nailed down. That's the position to build around in football. You don't build around a wide receiver. Raiders. So it's confusing, but at the same time, I feel like if I'm a Commanders fan, because the owner who shall not be named is now gone and they have ownership who's competent. B, they should be getting out of FedEx Field soon, which is the worst stadium in the NFL, which would be great for them. And 3, they have Sam Howell. They have young offensive talent. I feel like if I'm a Commanders fan over the next couple of years, you have stuff to be excited about. Doesn't excuse this.
No.
But
you can't replace the talent that they gave up with the picks that they got in return. Like Montez Sweat is 27 years old, still young by all means, entering his prime really. Averaging 7.5 sacks a year. He's already at 6.5 this year.
Wow.
Chase Young, obviously like a little bit of injury history, a little bit of concern there. He was the defensive rookie of the year. And you gave up the second overall pick to get him. And now you trade him away for what would have been your compensatory draft pick if you let him walk in free agency. Like it's a miracle that you didn't get more there, especially considering like looking back to last year, just the prices on these premium pass rushers, they were high. Like the Dolphins acquired Bradley Chubb for a first and a third. And here we see 2 guys who are both arguably better than Chubb going for significantly less. And meanwhile, Leonard Williams to the Seahawks for, he is in his 10th year, averaging 4 sacks a year, and he went for the same price as, or more than, Sweat. So I don't really know how you feel good about this as the Commanders. Maybe I'm missing something. I mean, you get off of a little bit of injury, you get off a little bit of money, but I would love to see if you could have kept these 2 DNs and like develop them alongside Howell.
Maybe they just have the best scouting department in the world, and they see a guy in the second round and the third round who they're just going to draft and replace these 2 guys with, who will be even better than these 2, and they're just playing the long, intelligent game here.
They just have the best scouts in the world.
Yep.
Based off of everything we've heard about the building within Washington, that is not the case. So, other confusing one, Joshua Dobbs. If I'm a Cardinals fan, I'm a little pissed off, honestly, at the Cardinals' decision here. Like, Joshua Dobbs has been manning, and obviously he's not been the best quarterback in the world, but he's been pretty damn solid. He's played a hell of a lot better than anyone expected him to. Been playing his ass off, trying to help the Cardinals get some wins, and then they decide to bench him. And Kyler's not even ready to be back yet. They just decided...
Yeah, I was going to say, is Kyler...
Yeah, he's off of IR, but they said that he's still like a couple more weeks away from playing. So they decided to bench Dobbs. And then the Vikings, because they now don't have Kirk Cousins, desperation mode, are like, all right, we'll trade a 6th round pick for him. And honestly, I love that for the Vikings. Worth a shot, might as well. But for the Cardinals, it just seems really weird and disrespectful. I mean, ultimately, it's not going to change their season a whole lot, but it's just bizarre to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Dobbs has been like a surprisingly good quarterback this year. I think that I would sort of not project him to maintain his course. And we sort of saw that last game where he threw 2 picks, where he was sort of starting to slip a little bit. But he did a lot for a really bad team. I was surprised to see them announce the benching and then move on from him at all. Moving on now, we are going to talk about the matchup of the week. It was unanimous this time. We all 3 proposed the same one. Although, Evan, you were the first one to get to the document, so why don't you go ahead and introduce your proposal?
It's kind of just the case because I run the document. It's pretty obvious. Started with the NBA because I was like, oh, maybe there's some fantastic NBA matchup this week, and not really. Yeah. Went to NFL, and immediately you see Chiefs-Dolphins in Germany. First ever game in Germany, which is pretty freaking cool. I kind of wish I was in Germany for this weekend to see this game because that was dope. But, I mean, this is hands down like the best matchup this week. Dolphins, the highest powered offense in the NFL. The Chiefs, who, when playing well and Patrick Mahomes doesn't have the flu and they're not turnover prone, are another incredible offense. The Chiefs also have one of the best defenses in the NFL, while the Dolphins do not. So it'll be easy to see here who comes out on top. Like, is the Dolphins offense going to be able to overcome the Chiefs' staunch defense, or are the Chiefs going to have an offensive explosion? So we'll see. And this is Tyreek Hill playing against the Chiefs, which is always kind of fun. Not that there's any bad blood there, but I'm sure just for Tyreek, he's kind of hoping to put up like 200 yards with 4 touchdowns. So.
Yeah. I'm really scared about this because every time the Dolphins have been in a matchup of the week, they play horribly. They cannot play against a good team. So hopefully this is the week we come back and actually show that we can actually play well and actually score against a high-powered defense and a really good team. But it's the same as last time when we played the Eagles. Eagles were coming off of a game that I don't think they should have lost. I don't think the Chiefs should have lost against the Broncos.
Oh, we earned it.
I mean, you guys did play great. I will give you that. It's just like not taking that away.
The Chiefs are the better team.
Right. But this should be a really fun match and a really good game. Hopefully the Dolphins can actually figure out how to play against a good team. But
yeah.
Waking up early for this one.
It might be the first one that I watch in Europe this year, honestly, because Jaguars were not worth waking up for early this season. Yeah. So.
Jaguars Bills was a decent one. I watched that one.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe, hey, the Dolphins are an hour closer to Germany, so maybe the time zone difference won't be as drastic for them, and they'll be a bit more refreshed than the Chiefs will be.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know what the Chiefs did. I know the Dolphins flew out to Germany like right after their game against the Patriots.
I think the Chiefs did a similar thing. I think they both saw what happened with the Bills getting there 2 days before the game and just looking lethargic, and they're like, let's not do that.
Yep.
Also love the, I don't know if you guys saw Tua's interview or press conference today. Some German guy was just like, how do you pronounce your first name? Because it's longer than Tua. It's like this really long Hawaiian thing. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, Tua's like, oh, give it a shot. And the German guy just goes, no. And Tua says, and he's like, can you say my last name? And the German guy goes, no. So just fantastic watching the German people struggle to pronounce Tua Tagovailoa.
That's great.
All right, now, time for the NBA Power Rankings. If you were bored by the NFL Power Rankings segment because we didn't move teams enough, well, good news. Because this board looks atrocious.
Time for some overreactions.
Oh, yeah. Micah, why don't you kick us off this one?
All right. I had 2 very heavy fallers in the Grizzlies and the Heat. I don't really want to talk about the Grizzlies that much because they're decimated by injuries. Like, they lost Steven Adams. They don't have Ja Morant right now.
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure out how to play with a new Marcus Smart and, like, figuring out how to cover these holes. I'm not worried about how much they're losing. Like, obviously it's concerning, but I don't think it's as concerning as the Miami Heat, who haven't really had any injuries, have not been playing that good of teams, and are just looking bad. Like, I think I should have pulled up their scores beforehand, but I didn't.
We'll do it live.
Wrong side.
Yeah, I mean, to cover you for a moment, the Grizzlies, we all had as huge fallers, but they did face tougher opponents so far. Lost to the Nuggets and the Mavericks. Lost to the Wizards doesn't look good, but and then lost to the Pelicans, also probably not ideal. But their margin of loss isn't actually even that bad relative to the other teams around them at only an average of -8. Still not great. But when you compare it to other teams like the Spurs at -14 right now per game, or the Rockets at -15, it doesn't look as terrible. And so I probably reacted a little bit less than a lot of people. And I still had them dropping 10 spots to 25th. So
it's more just like you can't help but put an 0-4 team low.
Yeah.
I think it's more my mindset. I just looked at it and like, realistically, they should probably be in the teams, but it's like they're 0-4. You got to give credit to teams who have actually won a game this season.
Right. They're one of the 3 teams that don't have a win so far.
Rockets, Grizzlies.
Memphis and...
I think those are just the 2.
there's only 2, yeah.
It's just Houston and Memphis. So.
It's terrible.
Which is why we all have Houston as our worst team in the league because...
Yep. Although they didn't fall very far.
No, none of us thought they were going to be good. This was more just confirmation that they are, in fact, ass.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I mean, they fell 6 spots for me. I thought they were going to be better than this.
I thought they'd be better, but like the last 8 spots for me were all going to be just terrible.
Right, yeah. These are all bad teams that aren't going to make the play-ins. Like, who cares?
yeah. And then a team, I feel like, it's so, like we've said, it's early in the season. It's hard to say, like, oh, what we've seen so far is exactly what this team is going to be. The Raptors should be a little bit concerned. They're the one team in the league who is not averaging 100 points per game. They're currently averaging 98 points per game.
They lost to the Blazers.
Yeah, they lost to the Blazers, and it was an ugly loss, too. Like, they shot horribly. Like, everything about the Raptors in that game looked atrocious. Yeah. And, again, they're not dealing with injuries. It's not like Pascal Siakam is out right now or Gary Trent Jr. or Scotty Barnes. They're all playing. They just look very bad.
Which is concerning. Like, they didn't have any new players either. Like,
no, not really.
Kept the team from last year.
So, I mean, who knows? Maybe this is just a sign that apparently Fred VanVleet was a lot more important to that team than we all thought. I mean, he was the main distributor, so that could just be it. I think when I checked, too, they have one of the lowest assist totals in the league as well. But we'll see. Hopefully the Raptors can figure it out. But this... So far through their first 4 games, it's not looking pretty in Toronto.
No. Their their losses have been really, really close. Like a 1-point loss, a 3-point loss, and 8-point loss to the Blazers. But another point for them right now, they are currently demolishing the Bucks as we're recording this. It's 44-26 right now.
Oh, wow.
So I do not doubt that they will like sort of bounce back a little bit, but it has been a really rough start to this team.
Yeah.
And then a big riser that I have, obviously the Mavericks. I put them pretty low, and they've been outstanding recently. The Pacers as well have looked a lot better than I expected. And then I actually have the Nets as a big riser, mostly because I had them as like a bottom 5 team before, and they've proven enough to get them out of that well for now. But yeah. Excited for the rest of the NBA season and another wild week, I'm sure, next week.
Again, too, kind of similar to the NFL. I'm interested to see how long it takes us to like settle into spots and no longer have this boomerang effect. Because I feel like since the NBA season is so much longer, you have a lot more pits and hills and everything within a season. Like any of these teams that are at the bottom, who knows? Blazers, Grizzlies, Hornets, Spurs could go on a run for a little bit. We all think, oh shit, they're actually really good. And then they'll resume being bad. So.
Yeah, so it'll be like week 15 and the worst team in the league will go on a 4-game win streak. So
and we're like, oh, they're a top 20 team in the league. And then they'll get blown out by 20 points in the next 5 games. We go, oh, never mind.
That's just the way the NBA goes, and I love it. bit of thing before we move into trivia. We've got a trade to discuss.
Ooh.
Finally, James Harden is on the move from the 76ers, and my goodness, it was more of a haul than at least I expected.
Yeah, it was 76ers received Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nick Batum, KJ Martin, a 2028 unprotected first from the Clippers, a 2029 first via OKC, 2029 pick swap, and 2 second-round picks, both via the Clippers. Clippers receiving James Harden, and then PJ Tucker and Flip Strusev. James Harden's really the only piece there that matters. I kind of feel like I know the situation was bad there, and I know it's hard to then go and get like a solid return when everybody knows it's broken down so bad. But like, you still look at all the trades that have gone around in the NBA recently, and I feel like the Sixers lost this. Like, it's just hard. Like, when a couple of years ago you look at the value that the Jazz got for frickin' Rudy Gobert, and then to compare it to this, and like, I know James Harden's on the decline. He is still 10 times the player that Rudy Gobert is. Like, maybe not 10 times, but he's still...
He's better.
Yeah, he's still significantly better. And so, I don't know, like, if... Like, Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nick Batum, KJ Martin, those guys are now not going to be in the Sixers' rebuild plans. They are probably likely all contracts that will expire. They'll let him go. Maybe they'll hold on to Rocco because he's still young enough. But Nick Batum's, 33? I think Marcus Morris is 34. KJ Martin, I've never heard that name before in my life.
Yeah.
So, it's... In terms of players, not a great haul, and then picks, like, I don't know.
I mean, another thing here is he's on an expiring contract, which is something that the 76ers were not going to stand a chance at renewing. Yeah. And then he's another one of these players in recent memory that we've like had this debate of how much do they actually do for your team, especially in the playoffs. Yeah. Like our Kyrie Irving, Russell Westbrook, players like that in recent memory who have, like, if anything, just proven us right more. So if we have those concerns for Harden, if he has these character concerns building and is actively weakening his own trade value, like, I think the 76ers got probably, like I said, more than I expected out of this. Obviously, you would have wanted more. I think they paid more to acquire him, but...
Probably just comes down to the fact that they shouldn't have let that relationship deteriorate that bad to begin with. I know it's James Harden, and he's a fussy little bitch, and it's hard to please him for whatever reason. But, yeah, still, I don't know what happened behind closed doors, but the fact that you had James Harden coming out saying, I refuse to ever play for a Daryl Morey team again, not a good look.
Yeah. I do want to say, for Philly, because I actually kind of do like this trade for them. Yeah. Like Jonathan said, it's an expiring contract. You got not only something for it, like you got a fair amount of like good role players. Like I really like Rocco and some of those other guys. But also, this is a Philly team who's 2-1. Their only loss is barely against the Bucks. Like they are looking good having Harden at just a 0. So now, like all you did was get stuff.
You fixed the locker room. You got stuff. Like, you improved your future.
Like, yeah, I still don't think they're on the same level as the Celtics. Probably not even the Bucks. But, like, this for me solidified them as the third best team in the East, at least. And, like, a team that, who knows, like, I mean, like we've been saying for the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years with Philly, if things break right, like, they could do something. But, I mean, if Embiid stays healthy and plays like the MVP he was last year, like, Tyrese Maxey was looking really good those last couple games without Harden taking away any of his shots or anything. Like, I think Philly's going to be pretty good, and I think these players will fit what they're trying to do right now.
It's time for trivia.
All right. And gotta set the stage. I currently lead.
You don't have to set the stage. It's fine.
No,
yeah, we didn't need
we don't need to set the stage.
I have 3. Micah has 2, but of course Micah can't participate this week, so he's not eligible for the win. And Jonathan,
I actually am participating. I found a loophole.
This seems rigged, but
we never said he couldn't.
And then Jonathan looking for his first point here, so hopefully he can get on the board.
All right. This trivia game, I couldn't think of a fun name for it. I'm just going to call it first name, last name. Essentially, what the gist is I will describe two players and one player, or two, I shouldn't say players, but two people in the NBA and the NFL. The last name of the first guy will be the first name of the second guy.
Okay.
So, for example, if I was to say, like, name the two of the three comedians from The Three Amigos, you would say Steve Martin Short. For Steve Martin and Martin Short.
Yeah.
I would like you to say it like that. I think it's more fun.
Yeah.
Don't say both the names. Just let it run quickly. As a brief disclaimer, I did take a few liberties with spellings, or if there was, like, everything works phonetically, and sometimes I took a longer last name, but the back end of the last name fits the first name. It'll still run very cleanly, but it won't be a precise last name, first name. So,
is this a back and forth thing? Or are we buzzing in?
Buzzing in. So I'd like you to say the word buzz.
So it's always one NBA, one NFL?
No, it's actually going to be... It'll go back and forth between NBA and NFL. They play within the same...
Yeah.
Yeah.
The player with the most receiving yards and the player with the most rebounds.
So I will do a 5-second timeout if you guess incorrectly.
Okay.
Give the other person a chance to go. And away we go. We have the all-time assist leaders, numbers 4 and 20 for the NBA.
Yeah. Really glad that my brain is thinking only of players with extremely unique names right now.
Right?
This is not a category I know very well either.
If there's any points where you guys get stuck, I'll give clues to help you narrow down.
I think my brain is also circling around the guys who are assist leaders 1, 2, and 3, which is not helpful. I would take a clue, but we'll... Sure. Jonathan, yeah.
All right. They are active, both of them.
Both active. LeBron, James Harden.
God damn it. I literally had that in my mind before you gave the hint. And I was like, no, Harden can't be 20.
Yeah. Again, please buzz.
Oh, okay.
But yes, still 1 point for Evan.
Oh, fuck.
Next up.
Insurmountable.
On November 26, 2017, the Falcons and the Buccaneers had these quarterbacks playing against each other.
Wow.
Buzz
After him.
Matt Ryan Tannehill?
No.
Matt Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I was looking for Matt Ryan Fitzmagic, but yes.
Yes!
Correct.
Let's go. We both knew Ryan.
I figured you guys should get Matt Ryan no matter what, and then it's who's the other
I forgot, dude. Matt
Ryan.
Fitzmagic played for so many damn teams.
Right.
All right, question number 3. We have the assistant coach and a player for the 2019-2020 Clippers.
God.
Wow.
Tyler Williams.
Wow.
That is correct.
I forgot he was an assistant back then.
That entire thinking was me trying to remember Tyler's freaking name.
Yeah, I almost did the following year because Tyronn Lue got promoted to head coach.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's way too easy. All right, moving on to the NFL. We got the head coach of an AFC East team and a quarterback for the NFC East. Current.
I'm trying to remember which teams are in which divisions. God, this sucks. I'm so bad at this. Like, fold under pressure. What's his freaking name?
Mike McDaniels-Jones?
No S, but yes, Mike McDaniel Jones is
Yeah.
correct. All right, next up. We have the all-time franchise scoring leaders for the Thunder and the Nets.
Russell Westbrook Lopez?
Buzz.
Russell Westbrook Lopez is correct.
Damn.
Sorry, I'm not saying Buzz.
Brooke Lopez.
Yeah.
It's the Nets, bro. He played for the Nets for so long.
Which is really fun
Yeah.
because Brooke Lopez, Dame Lillard, and Giannis are all leading franchise or franchise leaders of 3 different teams, and they all play for the Bucks right now.
Wow. I figured Westbrook would be like Russell was the first or the middle name in this trio, and so I was like searching for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have the clues like in order of who I'm saying first.
I've never done Jeopardy.
I mean, I should have clarified. Moving on. We have the 2nd all-time rushing yards leader and 3rd all-time passing yards.
Buzz.
Yes.
Walter Payton Manning.
Yeah.
That is correct. And Evan is running away with this. There are 5 more, so you're down 1-5, so you need to get the rest correct.
On it.
I'm really hoping you tie this up because the last question is harder and is going to take more time, and I want it to be really tense and close. So get on it. 2019 All-NBA 3rd team and 2023 All-NBA rookie 1st team.
Isn't it just all rookie first team?
Yeah, whatever.
2019. Fuck.
I'm not even sure I can name 5 rookies from this past year's on NBA first team. All right, well, we can eliminate Paolo Banchero.
Trying to remember. Like I know a lot of the rookies, I just don't remember who was first team, so I'm kind of like spitballing.
I think I know it, but I'm not sure I know the second guy's last name is the issue.
Oh, right, it's in order.
What is his last name? Buzz. Carmelo Anthony Edwards?
No.
No, that's right. Anthony Edwards is 2 years.
Yeah.
I'd
Do you
take
need a hint?
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you the team that the rookie plays for because that would be way
Yeah.
too obvious. I don't think the All-NBA 3rd team is in the league anymore. If he is, he's not making a contribution. He was... how do I say this without not giving him away?
That would have been... maybe don't say anything more. What's his... Is there a rookie with that? No. Maybe say more.
All-NBA 3rd team was stuck on one team for a while, and people kept on wanting him to get traded.
Kimball Walker Kessler.
There you go. I don't think you would get the Walker Kessler. You have him as your defensive player of the year.
I didn't realize he was first team.
Yeah.
Like I said, I couldn't name 5 rookies from last year, so it's not shocking.
All right. 2011 Bengals 2nd round pick and 2023 Bills 1st round pick.
Buzz. Andy Dalton Kincaid.
Yep.
Fuck. I spent too long laughing at it.
All right. Well, Evan has already secured the win, but we're going to keep going. Starters for the 2015-16 LA Clippers.
2015-16. It's 100% the 2 other guys that we don't know.
Yeah.
Great.
But I mean, like, you know the other guy. Like, you know both of them.
Oh, I'm sure, but
It's not like one of the big 3 in an obscure name.
They had a big 3 back then?
Well, there's 3 people you should think of for the Clippers at that time period.
I mean, they're not part of it, right?
One of them is.
One of them is. Oh.
Say it.
Buzz. Marquise Chris Paul.
No.
from the team do that?
I'd take a hint if he wants one too.
Sure.
One of them you should associate with the Clippers. The other you do not associate with that team. But he did play there at the end of his career.
I don't know at all. It's going to be like the most obvious thing in the world with me.
I mean, I was curious. Like, this was one of the first ones that I came up with in my head.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if they know he played there. Or, like, ended his career there. The guy who ended his career as a Clipper, you know him for winning a championship in the East. Like, he played on a team in the East that he's most famous for, won a chip there, and then ended his career in the Clippers.
Is he in the Hall of Fame now? Should be. Okay.
I don't know. Probably, maybe.
I think I know who it is. Now I'm struggling to figure out the other part, which should be the easy part.
Complete and utter brain fart on this one. I'm just circling around that big three, just trying to like pick out each name, and it's like, I just can't. I'm gonna hate myself for missing this one.
I probably don't know the other name because it should just fall into place.
The other one you know for winning a championship in Boston.
Oh, I did not know the other name.
Well, that just...
Okay.
I didn't pay much attention to the NBA before 2015.
Wheelchair.
Chris Paul Pierce.
There you go. Jesus.
That was bad.
All right.
I thought you were saying the big three guy won a championship in Boston. And that's
No.
why I was like,
No, I was saying the other guy.
okay, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Chris
no.
Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah.
All right.
I got Blake Griffin for sure.
Yeah.
Chris Paul as well. I didn't realize Jordan.
Yeah. Those
I didn't
three
realize
were
he
there
was
together.
considered a big three.
I mean,
yeah.
those were the three.
Lob
guys
City?
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to NFL. AFC East cornerback and AFC South quarterback.
Oh, corner. Jesus.
Yes.
Which division is South?
Have the Jaguars in that. Would be nice.
Okay.
I'll say this, as far as the names go, this one is by far my favorite. I can't believe the name is shared by two people on different first and last names.
I'm still trying to get all four quarterbacks.
Yes, me too.
I gotta go the other way. Figure out. Shit, what is that guy's name?
What are you doing?
I'm checking the time.
Yeah, I'm willing to punt on this one, Jonathan, if you don't got it. Or you can.
I'm willing to have a hint.
What if I just give you the teams in each division?
Yeah.
That help? Okay. AFC East is Miami, Buffalo, New York Jets, and New England Patriots. AFC South is Jags, Texans, Titans, and Colts.
None of those quarterbacks are. They can't be.
You'd be
Well,
surprised.
clearly.
That's why I love it so much.
Is this a starting corner?
I'm pretty sure.
Can you tell us the team of the corner?
Jets.
What?
I thought you were going to say Jets. I just couldn't remember the name of the corners.
Oh,
Sucks.
Buzz.
Yeah.
Sauce Gardner Minshew.
Sauce Gardner Minshew.
Oh.
I was thinking Anthony Richardson.
I was too. I was so stuck on...
All right. I think this is the last one. This one's going to be hard, but I really like it because they're so close together. This is the all-time NBA scoring number 27 and 28. They're right next to each other. And as a bonus clue, just to get us moving, they were also both drafted in the same year, 1996, numbers 5 and 1. So that gives you like time period. And they're good scores. And they share a name.
I think I have one of the names. I just can't remember the second one. Or I'm just completely off base.
Can I ask for a strange specific hint?
Yeah.
Who was drafted second?
I could be thinking of the completely wrong draft. That's probably what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Marcus Camby.
Whoa.
It's a really random question because I don't think that provides me with any information whatsoever. I would take a hint at this point.
Yeah, sure.
One of them has 2 rings. The other, pretty famously, has none. And 2 rings for 2 different teams as well.
Well, it's not the person I was thinking of, so wrong draft.
Joe Montana.
Wrong sport.
Famously has no rings.
Oh.
Yeah.
Again, that clue changed my mindset. But I think I now have one of them, but then I can't think.
More hints.
Buzz. Ray Allen Iverson?
Ray Allen.
Oh.
And with a whopping score of 9-2,
Oh, is that bad?
Jonathan remains winless.
Good game. It was a fun one.
I like that, Micah.
Good.
And speaking of remaining winless, it is time for our final segment of the game. We will speed through it. Sportsbook Showdown. Micah, get us kicked off with your first bet.
All right, my first bet of the week is the Steelers, Rams, and Eagles all winning money line. Put 2 units on that at plus 555 odds.
All right. Evan, what have you got?
I like it. It's not going to win, but I like it. I got Giants and Commanders moneyline parlay at plus 392, putting 2 units on it.
All right. My first bet of the week, I'm going with a parlay. Famously really bad at these, but Vikings over Falcons, Commanders over Patriots, Seahawks over Ravens. That's plus 2,202 for 2 units down. Really hopeful, but it won't happen. Bet number 2, Micah.
My second bet is Giants over Raiders, Bengals over Bills, and Chargers over Jets. All money line. I put 2 units at plus 507 odds.
All right. Evan.
All right. Well, my total points parlay from last week hit, so had to go with another one. This week I'm going Vikings Falcons under 39.5, Buccaneers Texans over 36.5, Cardinals Browns over 34.5, and Giants Raiders under 38.5.
I like it. For my second bet of the week, I have the Jazz beating the Magic and the Spurs also beating the somebodies. I didn't write down who it was apparently. Plus 528, 1 unit.
My last bet of the week is for any NBA team to start 10-0.
I almost took that.
Specifically the Nuggets.
No.
Any team.
But it will be the Nuggets.
That limits it to the Nuggets, the Celtics, and the Mavericks, I think are the only undefeated teams so far. I think the Nuggets have the best shot. Their schedule doesn't look that too hard, but I also think the Boston could do it as well. This is plus 40 odds, and I put my last unit on it.
All right. I like it. Evan, what's your last bet?
The Orlando Magic are making the playoffs, baby. I've seen enough through just 4 games. They're looking dang good. Paolo Banchero's looking amazing. That's plus 135, putting the unit on it.
I'm shocked it's only plus 135.
Yeah, honestly.
Does that include play-in if they succeed?
Yes.
Cool.
They have to go through play.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. For my last bet of the week, I have 8 bets because I really, really want to win at least one this season.
I will cry if you miss.
So one of two things is going to happen now. I'm either going to hit none of these and just quit doing the show, or I'll hit every one and I should have parlayed it. But we all know I miss exactly one leg of every parlay. I'm going Bills over Bengals, 114. Titans over Steelers, 124. Chiefs over Dolphins, minus 124. Eagles over Cowboys, minus 174. Nuggets over Timberwolves, minus 102. Mavericks over Bulls, minus 156. Grizzlies over Jazz, minus 128. And Warriors over Kings, minus 152. All at a quarter unit. Give me something. And that's all the time we have for today. So, Micah, please send us out with a hot take.
Oh shoot.
Evan, send us out with a hot take.
I already bet on the Magic to make the playoffs.
Micah, send us out with a hot take.
The Brooklyn Nets will make the playoffs.
Okay. You let
Dallas
everyone.
Mavericks will miss the playoffs. There we go.
Oh, okay. I like it.
There we go.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.